Good morning. It's Sunday the 10th of November. It's Remembrance Day here in the UK. Now normally I'd be watching the service on the TV, but today is a bit different because we're off on a mini adventure. Now, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I've long had this desire to build a tourist route throughout Lincolnshire. We see them in other parts of the country, King Alfred Way, the Rebellion Way, Canty Way and so on. Now, I did speak to Cycling UK about this, but they'd got no money and there was no interest really. So I've taken it upon myself to produce this alone. I've been trying to get some funding to build a website, but nothing forthcoming. So I've decided to build it myself. That's ongoing. But of course the main thing we have to do is test the route. We have to make sure that it's going to work. I don't know all of the route, know some of it. Now we can't test it all because we just really can't fit it all in. So we're going to test it in 2-day segments. So today we're going to ride from Grantham railway station, which will be one of the start points. And we're going to go right the way around Stamford, Crowland, Spalding, overnight in Spalding, and then we'll carry on through Boston, day on the Water Railway and head back to Lincoln where Wendy's husband Terry is going to pick us up. Now there was due to be 3 of us on this ride because Alison was joining us, but sadly Alison's had some family issues overnight, spent the evening in A&E with a relative, so sadly she can't come. So it's just Wendy and I. Now I am testing this rather neat bag system on this trip, and it's not actually being launched until February, but the company concerned have asked me to give it a good test. So that's something I'm going to do on this trip. But I'll tell you more about that as we go along. And that, folks, is what happens when you only secure your front wheel. This person's got the right idea. Leave a bike at the station that nobody on earth is going to steal. Well, my pals arrived now.
Morning!
So it's just the 2 of us now heading off on our 2-day test of the King John Way. Grantham Station's one of the start points, but you'd have a problem on the Sunday morning because it's not open
Not
yet.
even open.
Opens at 8:30 apparently, and I think it's gone that now. So they're running on time as usual.
Yeah, and don't try to get a train in from Bottisford because the first one's about 9:15.
Yeah, so that's not going to work. So we're just about to head off. I've realised I've left my phone behind, but I'm of a generation where I'm not welded to my phone, so unlike others here. So
I'd have gone back.
we're off.
Gone back.
And we'll get underway and we'll talk to you soon. So the first part of this route comes along the Riverside Path in Grantham. It's the River Witham. We'll be seeing the River Witham quite a lot on this route, and this is about the narrowest you're going to see it. This is a really pretty path along here. It's jewel in the crown of Grantham. So we're just entering Wyndham Park, and this really will be what we'll put on the map as a start point. And the main reason is that there's parking here, it's free parking, and there's also parking over the road in Queen Elizabeth Park, the other side of this park. And what we're going to do is show a route from the station to here. This is our first climb on the ride. We're a couple of miles in, outskirts of Grantham. It's not too bad, take it easy. The bag system I'm using for this 2-day ride is something new that's about to be launched by a company called Easy Psycho. Now that's Psycho with a C, not with a P, you'll be glad to hear. Now when Easy Psycho contacted me, I was immediately intrigued because, as you know, I do like new and innovative products, and this is truly innovative and certainly new. And what they've effectively done is supplied a bag system that can be easily attached and detached from the bike. Now they're offering two styles. Now the style I'm using today is a roll top bag with a large inside compartment. There is also a compartment for a small laptop, and this is ideal for this kind of trip when you can put all your clothes in and what have you. But the other one they're offering is effectively a commuter bag, and it's very much like a laptop bag. It's the sort of thing a commuter riding to work would have on their back. Now that's all very well until you get to the summer when you're going to get quite sweaty. So the beauty of this bag is that you can clip it to the rear of the bike. It's away from your body. It's nice and secure, and when you get to work, just unclip it and off you go. One of the concerns I had was with so much extra weight on the back, and I really have got a lot of weight in it today, that it would feel strange on the bike would be skittish. But in fact, it doesn't. And interestingly, the hill we've just come up was really easy. I thought it was going to be a lot harder, but it was actually, it felt slightly easier than it normally does. And I'm getting no swing at all on the back end, which is good. But I'll talk some more about this bag in due course.
It's nice to be off on a little mini adventure.
It is, isn't it? 2 days.
Yeah, especially as it's winter, you know.
I'm sure we'll tolerate each other for 2 days.
Well,
one of the first places we can check out on this route is here at Humby, and we've got this cute little church. Now, we visited this before and I put it in a video a while ago, so I'll put a link to that video up above. But we won't go in there this morning, but it's certainly well worth a little stop off. So just as a reminder, this route overall is just over 300 miles long. That could alter as we test the route, and there might be some changes we make. One of the changes might be to the cafe stops we suggest, and part of today's plan and tomorrow's plan is to look out for places to stop for coffee or for accommodation, and we're going to talk to those businesses and see what their offerings like for cyclists. Ideally, we'd like to get a discount for cyclists, but for us to mention a specific coffee stop or somewhere to stay, then we are looking for a commitment to support cyclists. So cafes, we'll expect them to have a pump, for example, and maybe some basic tools, bike racks. And for accommodation, we're looking for places that will have overnight storage that's secure. Now, when we did the Cantii Way, that was a real problem, because trying to find places that would keep your bike safe and that were convenient was very difficult because they weren't mentioned. So what we're trying to do is learn from that experience and try to do better. Most of the route we've chosen quiet roads, but occasionally we've got a little bit to do on the busier roads, and this is one of them. It's Sunday morning, but it's still fairly busy, but it's not far. So this is our first coffee stop. This is Hattie's Tea Room. There's also Lily Lavender's just down the way. Hi. Morning. So we're heading off now to the next leg, which is through the town of Stamford, and then we'll be going through Burley Park, and it's all uncharted territory because we've never ridden down through Stamford before. It's getting quite chilly at the moment.
it's weird, isn't it? It's gone colder.
It was 6 degrees when I left home, and it's now 7. Quite overcast today, but tomorrow is looking brighter but a bit colder.
Oh, it's not going to make me
You haven't got enough oomph to get up. Now we're heading towards the village of Swayfield. Now we know Frank lives here, Wendy, but the trouble is we don't know where he lives.
Oh, darn.
He always says pop in for coffee when you're passing, but he conveniently doesn't tell us his address. Well, this is why recce's are so important, because we've already chopped out part of the route that was taking us along a green lane that was a little bit too green this time of year. Now, might be okay in the summer, so we'll re-look at it for that, but certainly for the winter we need to be on the road, so we're just doing a bit of a detour. Pretty.
Very pretty. Lovely little lane, isn't it?
Now we've chosen to start the route from Grantham, but of course you can start from anywhere. We're doing the route anti-clockwise. I'm more of a clockwise person, as I've said before, but we're doing it anti-clockwise because it gets the rolling hills out the way first. And what we don't like to do is get back from a very long ride and be doing hills right at the end.
Not if we can help it. I always hate going downhill because you know you're probably going to have to go back up again.
Yeah. This is glorious, isn't it, down here?
Pretty lane, very pretty lane. We're straight down the High Street road.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Beautiful high street, isn't it?
Yeah, even better with no cars.
Yes, the route's still closed this morning for the Remembrance Parade. It's over now, but the route's still closed. But obviously, if you come here on a normal day, this will be traffic. So we left here, Wendy.
Left, yeah. Well, they want to look this way. No.
Yeah, it's always best to look both ways.
Knew they shouldn't have looked.
There's no cycling along here, so we'll dismount and do the right thing and walk across the bridge. God. It's the trouble when you get tired, isn't it?
It makes it harder, doesn't it? Oh.
We're laughing because I've got this pack on the back and I can't swing my leg over in the same way. You cannot say that.
This is lovely. Look at this.
Isn't it beautiful?
This is the bit to film, isn't it?
This is fantastic. Some views up across the town road bridge.
Try and take a picture if I could.
It's a beautiful tranquil river. That's the good thing about cycling, isn't it? You know, we get into these little places that you can't go in a car.
You're the middle of Stamford, would you? Well, this is a nice addition to the route.
Got a sheep. I'm going to commit Harry Kiri.
Oh dear.
Perfect day to come through here, isn't it?
Which gate do you think it's this one?
Need somebody else to come and open the gate.
Pedestrian access.
Oh, you're a star. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's interesting. It says pedestrian, you see, so I guess we're not really pedestrians, are we?
We are sometimes when we walk up hills.
Oh, there's the house.
Here's a couple of cyclists, Wendy. So we're not alone. Come on, you're all right. Do you want to go? Go. That was very good of you to stop, though. Thank you.
Well done.
Look at that fantastic house, Wendy.
I know.
I won't want the heating bill.
I won't want the cleaning bill.
It's a lovely fence round here.
Beautiful.
Wicker.
So beautiful.
Must be quite a special oak, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's really twisted, it's gorgeous. It like twists all the way up.
I believe this passes the stable's tea room. So I guess if you want a very high-priced cup of tea,
you wouldn't get 3 sausages in your sausage bat there,
you certainly
would you?
wouldn't, no. I doubt they'd do a sausage.
£4.20.
They wouldn't do a sausage bap. I'm sure a sausage bap is too lowbrow.
You don't realise how big these grounds are and things, do you? It's
No.
right on the edge.
I hadn't realised they were so close to Stamford
No, I hadn't.
that we'd sort of enter it.
Yeah.
Quite
We
so
see it
quickly.
from the A1, but you've driven quite a long way down the A1 to me from Stamford before you see
Yeah.
it.
Now when you come out of the gate at Burley House, go right onto the main road, but then you'll see immediately to the right almost, there's a marking for an NCN path. And that's the path we're on now. It's conveniently running alongside the busy road. That sort of path that's it's a little bit bumpy in places, but it's ideal for anything with wider than narrow road tyres. Now if you're a roadie, then you can ride on the road. But if you're a leisure cyclist like us, then this is a perfect path to take. It's keeping you away from the traffic. Well, this is quite nice. We've turned off for the busier road now. We're on the Peterborough Green Wheel, part of it running beside a river. It's very pleasant. So our next port of call is Crowland. Crowland's very attractive. It's got this wonderful 3-arch bridge in the middle. The river Welland used to run underneath it, but that was diverted long ago. So it sits there on dry land. And we've also got Crowland Abbey. Now this is another part of the route that's fine for most bikes, except for your narrow tired carbon hot ships. But in that case, you just carry on along the road. Now, of course, we're testing this on a pretty dank and miserable November day, but you can just imagine this on a summer's day. So this is Sustrans NCN 12 we're on at the moment. There's a mixture of cattle down here. So it's getting quite dull now. It's only 2 o'clock, but it feels more like 4 o'clock. So we're not going to hang around too long, but here's the bridge. It's the Trinity Bridge. And the river used to run under here in the day, but it's a medieval bridge. And this is the Abbey. What a fabulous sight. Spectacular. Obviously ruins, but The church part is still open, it says. Now, we'd love to go into the church, but it's Remembrance Sunday and they've obviously got some services going on, so we'll leave that for another day. Well, we're on the last leg now. We've got 8 miles to go to Spalding. A little bit more because we're out just the other side of Spalding, but we're going to be following the river now all the way in. Yes, it's nice and flat. There's no potholes and no traffic. Just a bit bleak. It's only 2:30 and it's you know, feels more like 5:30. Spalding's really the start of the fens from this side, and typical of the fens, you can see this roadway we're on is actually raised up, but of course the road isn't raised up, it's that the land around it has sunk as they've drained the fens and they've dried out, but the roads have stayed up at this level. And we'll see quite a lot of that tomorrow because most of our ride is going to be through the fenland. Now I'm on 55 miles at the moment. Wendy's just about to complete a grand fondue. She had a bit further to travel than I did. And we're looking tomorrow, looking at what we've got. We're about 70 miles to do tomorrow. So quite a bit more than today. But of course it's going to be flatter. Thank you. Here we are along the riverside in Spalding. Some beautiful old houses along here on the riverfront. Quite tired. I've done 62.4 miles and we've had enough for the day really. We'll be ready to stop. And I can't imagine anything worse now than having to pitch a tent in some cold woodland. And instead we're going to the travel lodge. The travel lodge in Spalding is very near Springfield Centre, and Springfield is one of these big outlet centres, factory shops and that sort of thing, so if shopping takes your fancy then it's the place to come and do it. Exactly, it's crazy,
appalling.
Isn't it?
Someone's going to get hurt.
Yep.
That's not something like that.
Exactly.
It's absolutely appalling. A total disgrace.